You know, last week, Sunday, I asked our church, in fact, I said, if I would ask how many of us believe in God, it's quite likely that most, if not all, would put up their hands. And then I said, if I were to then say, write down on a piece of paper what kind of God you believe in, I think many of us would first pause and think, and actually the answers that would come would be very different. And it is so important to know what kind of God the God of the Bible is. And we've just started a series called Good Father, and we're at pains to let everybody know that the God of the Bible is a good Father. Some people who might be listening to this are atheists. Maybe you don't believe in God. And you know what I find with many people that don't believe in God, the reasons that they give for not believing in God, when they describe the kind of God that they think He is, a lot of the time they've got the wrong picture of God, and the God that they perceive is not at all the God of the Bible, and not the way that He is. Some people as well, I must add, some people do believe in God. So for example, in Africa or in Zimbabwe where I live, most people claim to believe in God, and most people will know as well that He's a Father. But our perception of what God is like, for a lot of us, we can get from our earthly fathers, and maybe our earthly father has been absent, or he's been harsh and very strict with us. Maybe we don't see him as a friend. He's just distant, even emotionally and relationally. And God is a Father, and He's a good Father. That's what the Bible teaches us. In fact, the psalmist says, he's talking to God, and he says, "You are good, and what you do is good." So by very nature, God is good. Before He does anything, He is good. But then also when He does do something, what He does is good. And that's very important for us, because when God does something for us that's clearly good, maybe He blesses us in a certain way, materially or physically, we can turn around and thank Him. If we don't necessarily see evidence of God doing something good, like, giving us $100 or whatever, we can still declare that He is good. He causes the sun to come up, and He gives us life. There's so much to thank Him for. There's so much goodness. Then there are those things that don't seem good, like suffering and pain and hurt. The psalmist, in a few verses later, he says, "It was good for me to be afflicted, so that I might learn your decrees." It takes maturity to say something like that. When you realize that when something that looks bad happens, it's happening for a reason. Maybe God is wanting me to learn some kind of a lesson. Maybe God is building maturity and perseverance and strength. So even those things that look bad, the Bible tells us that God uses for the good, or that God works things out for the good of those who love Him. And it really takes maturity to process things like that. So if you're in Bulawayo, I really encourage you, for the next 7 weeks, every Sunday morning at 9:30 at Petra Primary School, we're going to be looking at this topic of a good Father. I really encourage you, regardless of what your background is, or just experiences you've been through in life, regardless of what you believe about God, I really feel that it would be worth your while. So do come join us 9:30 Sunday morning at Petra, and we're going to be looking at the good Father. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.